I'm back in Croydon now for the first time in a couple of months. I've had a nice time out in Belfast. Just having a walk around like I've done previously, just having a look at a few things. And as you can probably see behind me, there's loads of new apartments that have either gone up recently or are still supposedly going up. It doesn't look like there's a lot going on here, but there's loads more property in Croydon. Loads more apartments have been built, or flats as we used to call them. Have been built in Croydon, and I'd like to point out one simple fact here. I was looking it up the other day, and since I left school 32 years ago, there's roughly 100,000 less white people in Croydon. It's demographic replacement. Like I said, they seem to think there's a need to be building all new properties everywhere, because there's supposedly a shortage of housing. But like I said, the actual indigenous population, there's 100,000 less of us now than when I left school 32 years ago. Behind me is the Fairfield Halls, Croydon's main music venues. Over the years, lots of big acts like David Bowie, Status Quo, Genesis, Chaz and Dave, to name just a few, have played here over the years. This used to be a brilliant venue, pantomimes every year, lots of stuff going on. I've seen quite a few acts here, including Chaz and Dave and Kevin Bloody Wilson. But then nowadays, I'm going to come over here and have a look. They've got what's called the Tallowa Theatre, which is a theatre group aimed specifically at blacks. There's nothing for the indigenous population that's on the decline, as I've mentioned, 100,000 less. Like I said, the indigenous population's on the decline, with 100,000 less people now in Croydon, living in Croydon, than when I left school. And they do nothing specifically for the indigenous population, and they do everything for the replacement population. Tallowa is some kind of patois word. It means like small but fierce. Behind me is Croydon Minster, formerly Croydon Parish Church. By capacity, it's the second largest place of worship in Croydon. I'm not sure the actual capacity. I'm going to try and find that out. But it's the second largest in Croydon by capacity. There's been a church on this ground since 809. So that's obviously a very long time. But you can probably guess where the place of worship with the highest capacity is, or what it is. I'm going to be getting onto that later. The capacity of Croydon Minster is 650 people seated, I've just found out. And the title for the largest place of worship by capacity goes to, just behind me, Croydon Mosque, that has a capacity at the moment for 3,500 people, and it's looking to expand to 4,000 people with current works that are going on. When Croydon Mosque was first built, Bernard Wetherell, a Conservative MP and Speaker of the House of Commons, I don't know if he probably wasn't Speaker of the House of Commons at the time, but he liaised with the Saudis and arranged a £100,000 donation towards building it. And that's a Conservative, and that's about 40 odd years ago. This is Reeves Corner, Croydon, where in 2011, during a race riot after the death of Mark Duggan, black man Gordon Thompson deliberately went inside a furniture store and set fire to furniture inside the building. The building was over 100 years old and made of wood. The burning down of the building was almost inevitable, and the fire became so intense that it spread to nearby buildings where people were forced to flee their homes, including a woman who had to jump from a first-story window into the arms of onlookers. Gordon Thompson was subsequently arrested, charged and convicted of the deliberate arson. He received a sentence only slightly longer than those in Rotherham who set fire to a bin outside of a hotel with very little chance of that fire spreading and causing any danger to any people. It was outside a fire door. The building it was outside, if the fire had spread past the fire door, was a low-rise building with at least 3 fire escapes. There was virtually no chance of somebody being killed in that fire. There's probably more chance when people like Pete Doherty drink drive and drug drive and all the other things that they get up to. You've probably got more chance of killing someone by hitting a cricket ball near a busy road. This is Trumble Gardens in Thornton Heath, Croydon. It was originally a war memorial. There were houses here up until World War II, and they were destroyed by a doodlebug. And the gardens were a memorial garden. I remember as a child coming in here, and the lawns were immaculate. Used to get told off as a child if you even walked on the grass. Now there's all, to be fair, it's better than last time I came here, but at least the grass is cut. There's all bits of rubbish strewn all over the place, bricks, litter. The grass doesn't look like it's been watered in ages, and there's nothing actually up to say that it's a war memorial. I don't know if it's lost its war memorial status, or whether someone's just decided that it's better to keep something like that quiet, but this has changed dramatically. I watched Freedom Dad's video a little while ago when he was talking about how respectful they are to war memorials in Belfast, and I obviously live just off the Shankill Road, so I know how well kept the war memorials are there. And basically that's how it was in Croydon when I was growing up, and Croydon's literally just 20 years ahead of Belfast. Well, things are speeding up, so that 20 years is probably 5 or 10 years, but if things carry on going the way they are, the war memorials in Belfast will probably be something like that within 5 or 10 years. Trumble Gardens was originally called Brigstock Road Gardens, and the walls around it were built out of bricks salvaged from the bomb damage from the 3 houses that were destroyed by a bomb during World War II. It was later renamed Trumble Gardens after an alderman and mayor of Croydon who came from Thornton Heath. I'm not sure his backstory. But again, like I said, I remember it as a child as being a war memorial gardens. I can't remember if they had reefs and all that. I was only young when I used to come here, but the walls around, like I said, the walls around the garden were built out of bomb damaged bricks from the houses that were damaged by the doodlebug. Now the garden seems to be used for somewhere for people to drink, have sex and light bonfires. Last year Trumble Gardens were used to celebrate Black History, hence the Desmond Decker graffiti. A couple of tramps have just gone by me drinking. I didn't want to film them because I didn't want a confrontation in what should be a war memorial garden. That's a sign on the wall to Trumble Gardens promoting the Thornton Heath festival, which is basically Black Festival, a bit like the Notting Hill Carnival but the following week. I've only ever sort of been past early on when it's been going on, probably over 20 years ago, but I've been warned by a lot of people that it's a terrible sort of thing, like the Notting Hill Carnival but without the metal detectors. Some of the scumbags on that list. David White is a communist in Croydon who once accused me of Nazi saluting outside Luna House at a protest, and then eventually conceded that I hadn't Nazi saluted but wasn't big enough to apologise. You've got someone from Black Lives Matter, obviously a black supremacist organisation, Jeremy Corbyn. We know a few things about him. Unfortunately, I've missed this event. It was last Tuesday, but there it is. Another point of interest is this is Ruskin House. It's a place in Croydon named after a paedophile. The Croydon Labour Party might still be based here, I'm not sure. The Communist Party of Great Britain was based here, probably still is. It looks like the new party by Jeremy Corbyn are having meetings here now. That's a sticker there that looks like it's been up for about a year. I'm going to attempt to scrape it off. I know that there's not a razor blade behind it because I'm not stupid and I can see that there would be a raised surface if there's a razor blade behind it. I don't think there's ever been razor blades behind stickers, but I shall now have an attempt of peeling this sticker off. I'm struggling a bit there. I'm going to get my keys out or a credit card or something.